Hey guys, tonight we're going back to feudal Japan, to the year 1581, a time of war and shadows. Before we begin, if you're just settling in, why not give this video a quick like? And let me know in the comments where in the world you're watching from tonight. Now, let the day fade away. Dim the lights, make yourself comfortable, and let the slow current of history carry you. You are awake before you are conscious. Your body registers the change in the air first, a subtle shift from the deep, stagnant cold of a moonless night to the sharper, more active chill that precedes the dawn. Your eyes are closed, but you can feel it on the sliver of exposed skin on your face. It is a familiar alarm clock, one that has governed your life for as long as you can remember. You lie perfectly still on the woven reed mat, which does little to soften the unyielding packed earth beneath it. The floor is a heat thief, constantly pulling warmth from your body. You feel it in your bones, a deep-seated cold that has become a part of your very marrow. You do not shiver. Shivering is a waste of energy, a betrayal of control. You simply exist within the cold, a silent partner to it. Your hearing, always the first sense to truly awaken, stretches out into the darkness of the small hut. It catalogues the sounds. There is the almost inaudible whisper of a breeze finding a crack in the daub walls. There is the impossibly distant sound of a single night bird calling its last farewell to the stars. From the other side of the hut, you hear the slow, deep, and even rhythm of your companion's breathing. Kenzo sleeps the sleep of the exhausted, his presence a quiet and steady weight in the small space. Your own breath is a ghost in your chest, shallow and deliberate, making no sound as it leaves your lips. You are a stone in a silent stream. Slowly, you allow your muscles to acknowledge the coming day. You mentally inventory the aches. There is a dull throb in your left shoulder, a lingering ghost from a training fall 2 days ago. Your thighs burn with a low, constant fire from the previous day's climb through the mountains. Your feet feel bruised and tender. You accept these sensations without judgment. They are simply data, information about the state of the tool that is your body. Pain is a message, not a distraction. You translate it, understand it, and file it away. Finally, you decide to move. The decision is not a whim, but a conclusion. The time is right. You peel back the single, coarse blanket. The fabric feels like dried jute against your skin, its scratchiness a dull, familiar friction. The cold air immediately rushes in to claim the meager warmth you had accumulated, and for a fleeting moment, the chill is sharp enough to be a physical blow. You swing your legs over the edge of the low sleeping platform. Your bare feet make contact with the packed earth. The floor is colder than the air, its texture smooth but gritty under your soles. You hold yourself motionless for a full 10 counts, allowing your body to acclimate, allowing your senses to confirm that your movement has not disturbed the quiet symphony of the pre-dawn world. Satisfied, you rise. The movement is a single, fluid unfolding, like a shadow detaching itself from a wall. There is no creak of joints, no shuffle of feet. Years of relentless, punishing practice have erased such tells from your physical vocabulary. You are now a vertical shape in the near-total darkness, your eyes, already accustomed to the gloom, beginning to resolve the faint differences between shades of black. The outline of the low table, the squat forms of 2 stools, the lump in the corner that is your mission gear, they slowly emerge from the void. You glide to the table and find the clay water jug. You lift it with both hands. Its weight is a known quantity. You pour a small amount into a simple wooden bowl. The sound of the water is a soft gurgle, the loudest noise you have made since waking. You listen intently as you pour, ensuring the sound is contained, that it does not travel beyond the thin walls of your hut. You raise the bowl to your lips. The water is achingly cold and has a mineral taste, the flavor of the deep well from which it was drawn. It washes the stale taste of sleep from your mouth and sends a shock of cold through your core, a final, sharp command to be fully awake. Your breakfast is on the table, wrapped in a small piece of cloth. You unwrap it to reveal 2 small, dense rice cakes and a sliver of dried, salted fish. This is not a meal for pleasure, it is fuel. You pick up one of the rice cakes. It is hard and unyielding in your hand, its surface smooth and cool. You put it in your mouth and begin to chew. The process is a long and patient one. Your jaws work with a slow, grinding rhythm, gradually breaking down the dense, chalky texture. It has almost no flavor, only the faint, ghostly taste of rice. It is pure substance. After what feels like an eternity of mechanical chewing, the cake has softened enough to be swallowed. You follow it with a small bite of the fish. The saltiness is a jolt to your palate, sharp and aggressive, and the flesh is tough as leather. You chew it with the same methodical patience, extracting every last bit of its essence before swallowing. You eat the second rice cake in the same manner. This entire process takes the better part of 15 minutes, a silent meditation on the principles of patience and conservation. As you finish your deliberate meal, the first true light of dawn begins to seep into the world outside. The paper screen over the single window shifts from an impenetrable black to a soft, luminous gray. The world is holding its breath, waiting for the sun. This is your cue. The time for quiet reflection is over. The time for action begins. You move to the corner of the hut where your gear lies in a neat bundle. You kneel beside it and begin the ritual of preparation. This is a ceremony as sacred as any priest's, a series of actions performed with reverence and absolute focus. You unroll the dark, heavy cloth. Inside, nestled in precisely cut hollows within a wooden frame, are the instruments of your trade. Your first touch is for the asterisk katana. You draw it partially from its black lacquered scabbard, the saya. The blade emerges with a soft, oily whisper, a sound like a sigh. You do not draw it all the way. It is not necessary. You simply need to see a hand's breadth of the steel. In the growing gray light, the metal is a line of captive twilight. The hamon, the temper line, is a faint, wavy pattern, a river of hardness flowing through the blade. You can feel the soul of the weapon, its perfect, deadly balance, even with just the hilt in your hand. You push it back into the scabbard. It seats with a soft, final click. It is ready. Next, you inspect your shuriken. There are 10 of them, star-shaped, with 4 sharp points each. They are not the flimsy, decorative things of stories. They are thick, heavy pieces of blackened steel, designed to pierce flesh and bone. You pick one up. It feels cold and solid in your palm. You test each point with the pad of your thumb, a light, careful touch. The edges are honed to a wicked sharpness. You check for any signs of rust or weakness. There are none. You place each one back in its designated slot in the soft leather pouch that will be strapped to your belt. You turn your attention to the grappling hook, the asterisk kaganawa. The hook itself is a 3-pronged claw of forged iron, attached to a long, thin, but incredibly strong rope woven from silk and horsehair. You uncoil the rope slowly, running its entire length through your gloved fingers. You are searching for any fraying, any weakness, any knot that could compromise its integrity at a critical moment. The rope slides smoothly, its texture slightly rough, its strength a reassuring promise. You coil it again with practiced efficiency, forming a neat, compact bundle that will not snag or tangle when you need to deploy it quickly. You then lay out the smaller tools. There is a set of delicate lockpicks, each a different shape, nestled in a velvet-lined case. There is a small, razor-sharp knife, the *tanto*, its purpose more for utility than combat. There is a small pouch filled with *tetsubishi*, or caltrops, vicious little multi-pronged spikes designed to cripple a pursuing enemy. And there is a small bamboo tube containing a blinding powder made from ash and ground pepper. You check each item, your hands moving with an assured familiarity. These are not just tools. They are extensions of your will, solutions to problems you have not yet encountered. Once the inspection of your equipment is complete, you begin to dress for the mission. You start with the *shitagi*, a simple loincloth and undershirt of soft, dark cotton. The fabric absorbs sweat and prevents your outer garments from chafing during long periods of exertion. Over this, you pull on the *zuben*, the loose-fitting trousers that are tight at the ankles to prevent them from making noise or getting caught on obstacles. Then comes the *awagi*, the jacket, which crosses over the chest and is tied with a sash. All of it is dyed a deep, dark indigo, a color that is not quite black, a color that dissolves more effectively into the varied shadows of night and twilight. You wrap your forearms and shins in tight strips of cloth, providing a small measure of protection and further ensuring that your sleeves and trousers will not make a sound. You pull on your tabi*, the split-toed socks that give you greater dexterity and a better feel for the ground beneath your feet. Over these, you wear soft-soled waraji*, woven straw sandals that allow you to move in near total silence. The final piece is the mask, the zukin*, which covers your head and face, leaving only a narrow slit for your eyes. You take a moment before putting it on. You look at your faint reflection in the polished steel of your sheathed sword. The face that looks back is young, its features hard and emotionless, a mask of a different sort. You take a slow, deep breath of the open air. Then, you pull the cloth over your head. The world changes. Your peripheral vision is gone. Your sight is now a narrow, focused channel. The sound of your own breathing becomes more pronounced, a quiet rhythm inside the cloth. The mask is a tool of focus, a physical barrier that helps to create a mental one. You are no longer Taro, the boy from the village. You are a shinobi, a shadow, an instrument of your clan's will. You stand, fully equipped. You move your arms and legs, testing your range of motion. Everything is in its place. Nothing restricts you. Nothing makes a sound. You are ready. Just as you complete your preparations, you hear a soft scratching at the door. It is the signal. You glide to the door and slide it open silently. Master Kenji, one of the village elders, stands outside. His face, illuminated by the now pale light of dawn, is a roadmap of wrinkles and scars. His eyes, however, are as sharp and clear as a shard of glass. He beckons you with a slight inclination of his head. You follow him through the sleeping village. The pathways are narrow and winding, designed to confuse and disorient any unwelcome visitors. The air is filled with the scent of damp earth, pine needles, and the cold stone of the mountains that shelter this hidden enclave. No one else is about. The village keeps its secrets well. He leads you to a small, secluded shrine at the very edge of the village, built into a natural cave behind a waterfall. The constant roar of the water provides a curtain of sound, ensuring that any conversation held here remains private. Inside the cave, a single candle flickers, casting long, dancing shadows on the damp rock walls. Your master, Lord Ishikawa, is waiting. He is not a large man, but his presence fills the small cave. He sits perfectly still, a scroll resting on his lap. You kneel before him on the cold stone floor, your head bowed. The time has come, Lord Ishikawa says. His voice is not loud, but it cuts through the roar of the waterfall with effortless authority. The warlord Oda Nobunaga tightens his grip on our lands. His puppet, Lord Endo, has fortified his castle at Kameyama. We believe he is preparing to launch a final, decisive assault against us. He gestures to the scroll on his lap. For weeks, our best scouts have watched the castle. They have risked their lives to gather the information contained on this map. He unrolls it slowly. It is a detailed drawing of Kameyama Castle, its walls, towers, and inner buildings rendered with painstaking precision. But a map is not enough. We need to know the true strength of his forces. We need to know their patrol routes, the schedule of the changing of the guard, and the location of their emergency stores. Most importantly, he says, his voice dropping to an intense whisper, we need to know if the rumors are true. We need to know if Endo possesses firearms, the *Tepo* brought by the southern barbarians. He looks directly at you, and you feel the weight of his gaze even with your head bowed. This is your mission. You will infiltrate Kameyama Castle tonight. You will move through it like a ghost. You will observe, you will learn, you will remember. You will not engage. You will not kill unless it is the only way to avoid capture. Your life is valuable, but the information you carry is the life of this village. You are our eyes and ears in the enemy's heart. He rolls the scroll back up and holds it out to you. Study this. Burn it into your memory. The map is your guide, but your wits will be your true compass. You take the scroll. The paper is smooth and cool to the touch. You spend the next hour committing every line, every notation, to memory. The height of the walls, the location of the main gate, the blind spots beneath the watchtowers, the likely position of the armory. It all flows from the paper into your mind, forming a three-dimensional image that you can turn and examine from any angle. When you are finished, Lord Ishikawa hands you a small, flat stone. When you have learned all you can, leave this stone on the sill of the highest window in the main keep. It is a sign to our observers outside that your mission is complete and you are attempting to exfiltrate. They will create a diversion on the eastern side of the castle to draw attention away from your western escape route. You take the stone. It is smooth and gray, unremarkable in every way, yet it is a vital link in the chain of your mission. You secure it in a small pouch. Go now, Lord Ishikawa says. Use the day to travel. Rest in the shadows of the forest. Approach the castle only after the moon has set. May the spirits of our ancestors guide your steps. You bow once more, a deep and final gesture of loyalty. Then you rise and leave the shrine, passing back through the curtain of the waterfall. The fine mist clings to your clothes for a moment before you emerge into the full light of the new day. Your journey begins. You leave the hidden village behind, melting into the dense forest that surrounds it. The path you take is not a path at all, but a series of known points. A gnarled pine, a moss-covered boulder, a fast-flowing stream. You move with a steady, ground-eating pace, your waraji making almost no sound on the thick layer of fallen leaves and pine needles. The forest is a living entity around you. The air is cool and clean, thick with the smell of pine and damp soil. Sunlight filters down through the high canopy in shifting, dappled patterns. You move through these pools of light and shadow, your dark clothing making you a part of the forest's constant dance. Your senses are fully engaged, not just looking and listening, but feeling the subtle shifts in the terrain through the soles of your feet, smelling the changes in the air that might signal the proximity of a stream or a clearing. For hours, you travel like this. You are a machine of silent movement. Your mind is calm, focused on the task ahead. You do not think about failure. You do not think about death. You think only of the mission, the castle, the patrol routes, the firearms. The information. As midday approaches, the sun climbs higher, and the forest grows warmer. You find a secluded spot, a small hollow shielded by a cluster of ferns, to take your second meal. It is the same as your first. A hard rice cake and a piece of dried fish, washed down with water from a nearby stream. You eat slowly, methodically, your back against the trunk of a large oak tree. You are not just resting your body. You are resting your mind, allowing the mental map of the castle to settle, to become a part of your subconscious. After your meal, you do not linger. You continue your journey, pushing deeper into the wilderness that separates your lands from those of Lord Endo. The terrain becomes more challenging. The hills grow steeper, the forests thicker. You cross ravines on fallen logs. You scale sheer rock faces using skills honed since childhood. Your body performs these tasks with an effortless grace, your mind always one step ahead, planning your next move. By late afternoon, you begin to see the first signs that you are approaching enemy territory. You find a discarded sandal, a broken arrow shaft. You become even more cautious, your movements slower, more deliberate. You are no longer just a traveler in the forest. You are an intruder. You finally reach the edge of the forest that overlooks the plains of Kameyama. You conceal yourself in a dense thicket of bamboo and look out. In the distance, perhaps 2 leagues away, you can see it. Kameyama Castle. Even from this distance, it is an imposing sight, a man-made mountain of stone and wood rising from the flat landscape. A thin plume of smoke rises from its kitchens. A banner bearing the crest of the Endo clan flutters from the highest tower of the main keep. This is your target. You will spend the rest of the day here, in this thicket, watching. You will observe the patterns of the smoke, the movement of any figures you can discern. You will wait for the sun to set, for the moon to rise and then set again. You will wait for the deepest part of the night, the hour of the rat, when the guards are tired and the world is asleep. You settle into your hiding place, your body finding a position of stillness that you can hold for hours. The sun begins its slow descent, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. The castle is silhouetted against the dying light, a dark and menacing shape. The weight of your mission settles upon you, not as a burden, but as a mantle of purpose. The day is ending. Your true work is about to begin. You close your eyes, not to sleep, but to focus, to visualize the path ahead, to become the shadow that will soon fall upon Kameyama Castle. The sun bleeds out across the horizon, a slow, magnificent death of 1,000 shades of crimson and gold. From your hiding place in the dense bamboo thicket, you watch the light abandon the world. Kameyama Castle transforms from a solid, tangible fortress of stone and wood into a jagged black silhouette against the vibrant sky. You do not admire the sunset's beauty. To you, it is merely a timepiece, a celestial instrument marking the transition from the world of men to the world of shadows. Your world. You remain absolutely still. Your body has found a state of equilibrium in the cramped space, your limbs artfully arranged to avoid putting too much pressure on any single point. This is a skill learned through countless hours of agonizing practice, the art of becoming living stone. Your breathing is so shallow it feels as though you have ceased to breathe at all, each intake of air a silent, measured sip, each exhalation a ghost. The last vestiges of color drain from the sky, leaving behind a deep, velvety indigo. One by one, the stars begin to prick holes in the darkness. They are cold, distant, and uncaring. They are your allies. The temperature begins to drop more noticeably now. The ambient warmth of the day has dissipated completely, and the inherent chill of the earth begins to assert its dominance. It seeps through your dark clothing, through your skin, and settles deep within your muscles. You feel it as a dull, persistent ache, a coldness that is more than just a physical sensation. It is the palpable presence of the night. An hour crawls by, marked only by the slow march of the stars across the sky. The sounds of the world have changed. The daytime chorus of birds and insects has faded, replaced by the nocturnal symphony of crickets and the occasional, mournful hoot of a distant owl. From the castle itself, you hear the faint, rhythmic clang of a wooden mallet against a block of wood, the changing of the guard. You make a mental note of the timing. It is precise, disciplined. Lord Endo runs a tight ship. This will not be easy. Your stomach clenches with a pang of hunger. You had your last meager meal hours ago, and your body, a finely tuned machine, is requesting more fuel. You ignore it. Hunger is a distraction, a weakness of the flesh. Your mind is the master here, and it commands the body to be silent. You focus instead on the castle. You let your eyes trace its outline in the starlight, reinforcing the map burned into your memory. You visualize the courtyards, the stables, the main keep. You imagine the guards walking their designated routes, their footsteps echoing on the stone ramparts. You are already inside, in your mind. The moon begins its ascent. It is a pale, slender crescent, offering only a sliver of its potential light. This is good. A full moon would be a treacherous enemy, bathing the landscape in a wash of revealing silver. This sliver of a moon is a friend, providing just enough light to discern shapes and shadows without compromising your concealment. The world under the crescent moon is a study in shades of gray and black. The castle walls are no longer a flat silhouette but have texture and depth. You can see the rough-hewn faces of the stones, the dark lines of the mortar between them. You can see the deeper shadows cast by the watchtowers and the crenellations along the ramparts. You absorb these details, adding them to your mental map. Another hour dissolves into the past. Your left leg begins to cramp. A fiery, needle-like pain shoots up from your calf. Your body screams at you to move, to stretch, to relieve the pressure. You deny it. You focus on the pain, not as an enemy, but as an object of meditation. You observe it, you acknowledge its presence, and then you mentally wall it off, containing it in a small, sealed box in the corner of your mind. The pain remains, but it no longer has power over you. You are the master of your own suffering. You become aware of the smaller life around you. A mosquito whines near your ear, drawn by the warmth of your blood. It lands on your cheek. You feel its delicate, tickling footsteps, the sharp but tiny prick as it pierces your skin. You do not move. You do not flinch. You allow it to feed. To kill it would require movement, a slap that would create a sound, a disturbance in the perfect stillness you have cultivated. The life of a shinobi is filled with such tiny, maddening surrenders. You sacrifice your blood, your comfort, for the sake of the mission. The mosquito finishes its meal and flies away, a small, dark speck against the night sky. The moon continues its silent journey, a slow arc across the vast, starry expanse. You watch its progress, your internal clock ticking away the minutes, the hours. The castle is quieter now. The sounds of activity from within have mostly ceased. The only signs of life are the lanterns of the guards as they make their rounds, small, wandering fireflies in the immense darkness of the fortress. You track their movements, their timing, their patterns. You see a guard pause to lean against a wall. You see another stifle a yawn. They are human. They are tired. They are vulnerable. Your senses are stretched to their absolute limit. You can smell the damp, loamy earth beneath you, the sweet, slightly spicy scent of the bamboo leaves. On the breeze, you can catch the faint, greasy odor of wood smoke and old cooking oil from the castle's kitchens. You can hear the rustle of a small animal moving through the undergrowth nearby. You can feel the subtle vibrations in the ground that might signal the approach of a mounted patrol, though none comes. You are a part of the night, a sensory organ for the silent, watchful darkness. The hours pass in this state of heightened, silent awareness. 2 hours, 3, 4. The world seems to have fallen into a deep, dreamless sleep. The moon, your only companion in this long vigil, begins its descent towards the western horizon. As it sinks lower, the shadows grow longer, deeper. The world becomes darker, more mysterious. This is the time you have been waiting for. The moon finally disappears, and the world is plunged into a new level of darkness. This is the hour of the rat, the deepest, most profound part of the night. It is the time when the body's energy is at its lowest, when the mind is most susceptible to fatigue and inattention. It is the time when a shadow can move most freely. It is time to go. The process of coming back to life is slow and agonizing. You do not simply stand up. You coax your muscles back into service, one by one. You begin with your fingers, slowly curling and uncurling them. Then your toes. You feel the sharp, electric shock of pins and needles as blood flows back into your sleeping limbs. You accept the pain without reaction. You slowly, deliberately, shift your weight, easing the pressure on your cramped leg. The muscle screams in protest, but you silence it with your will. It takes you a full 10 minutes to get to your feet, a silent, painful process of resurrection. Once you are standing, you remain motionless for another long moment, allowing your body to find its balance, allowing your senses to confirm that your transition from stillness to movement has gone unnoticed. The night is silent. The castle sleeps. You slip out of the bamboo thicket like a wisp of smoke. The open ground between the forest and the castle moat is a terrifying expanse of vulnerability. There is no cover here. You move from one patch of deeper darkness to another, your body low to the ground, a fleeting shadow in the starlight. Your feet, shod in the soft-soled waraji asterisk, make no sound on the damp earth. You are a phantom, a whisper of movement. You reach the edge of the moat. It is not the wide, water-filled chasm of a great fortress, but a more modest defense. A ditch perhaps 15 feet wide, filled with a few feet of dark, stagnant water and a thick layer of mud. The smell that rises from it is foul, a thick, cloying odor of decay and filth. This is your first true obstacle. You do not hesitate. You slide down the muddy bank, your feet sinking into the cold, viscous ooze. The water is shockingly cold against your skin, and the mud tries to suck the sandals from your feet with each step. You move slowly, deliberately, lifting each foot high to break the suction, placing it carefully to avoid a splash. The sound of your movement is a soft, sickening squelch, a sound that seems impossibly loud in the profound silence of the night. You pause after each step, listening, your heart hammering against your ribs. But there is no alarm, no shout from the walls above. You reach the other side of the moat, your lower body coated in a layer of cold, stinking mud. You pull yourself up the opposite bank and flatten yourself against the base of the castle wall. The stone is immense, rising up into the darkness like a sheer cliff face. It feels cold and rough against your cheek. You are at the heart of the enemy's fortress now, a single, insignificant figure clinging to the base of its power. You press your ear against the stone, listening for any vibrations, any sounds from within the wall. You hear nothing. You are in one of the blind spots you memorized from the map, an area between two watchtowers where the guards' patrol routes do not overlap. You look up. The top of the wall is a dark line against the star-dusted sky. It is at least 30 feet high. Climbing it unaided is impossible. It is time for the Kaganawa. You uncoil the rope from your belt. Your hands, though cold and numb, move with practiced efficiency. You hold the grappling hook in your right hand, the coiled rope in your left. This is a moment of supreme risk. The sound of the hook hitting the stone could betray you instantly. You take a deep, silent breath, focusing your entire being on the task at hand. You begin to swing the hook in a slow, controlled circle, building momentum. The rope makes a faint, whispering sound as it cuts through the air. You judge the distance, the angle. You are not just throwing. You are aiming for a specific crenellation at the top of the wall, one that looks solid and secure. You release the hook. It flies upwards, a dark shape against the night sky, trailing the thin line of the rope behind it. You watch its ascent, your breath held tight in your chest. You hear a soft, scraping sound, then a solid, muffled thunk as the hook finds its mark. It has caught. But is it secure? This is the next, heart-stopping question. You pull gently on the rope. It holds. You pull harder, putting more of your weight into it. The rope remains taut. The hook is secure. Now comes the climb. You take the rope in both hands. The woven texture feels rough and reassuring against your palms. You plant your feet against the cold, hard stone of the wall and begin to pull yourself up. Your arms strain with the effort. Your muscles, already cold and stiff, burn with a fiery protest. You ignore them. You move with a steady, rhythmic motion, hand over hand, your feet finding small purchase on the uneven surface of the wall. The world becomes a small, focused circle of effort. The rope, the stone, the strain in your arms. You are 10 feet up. 15, 20. The ground recedes below you. You are exposed. A dark spider clinging to a vast stone web. A gust of wind whips around the corner of the castle, causing you to sway slightly. You press your body tight against the wall, your muscles locked, until the gust passes. You look up. The top of the wall is only a few feet away now. You can see the dark shape of the merlin where your hook is lodged. You give one final, powerful pull and haul yourself over the edge. You collapse onto the stone walkway of the rampart, a heap of exhausted muscle and frayed nerves. You lie flat, gasping for air, the rough stone pressing into your cheek. The reek of the moat mud fills your nostrils. You have done it. You are inside the outer wall. You allow yourself only a few seconds to recover. You quickly pull up the rope and unhook the Kaganawa*, coiling it and securing it to your belt. You must not leave any trace of your entry. You rise to a crouch and peer into the darkness of the first courtyard. The real infiltration has just begun. The stone of the rampart is cold and solid beneath you, an anchor in a world of shifting shadows and silent threats. Your breath still burns in your lungs, a fire fueled by adrenaline and exertion. The metallic tang of fear, or something very much like it, coats the back of your throat. You swallow it down. It is just another sensation, another piece of data to be processed and filed away. Your heart, a frantic drum against your ribs, begins to slow its rhythm under the ironclad command of your will. You force it back into a slow, steady beat. Panic is a fire that consumes the unprepared. Your training, a relentless forge of pain and discipline, has made you fireproof. You are no longer looking at the castle from the outside. You are within its first layer of defense. The perspective has fundamentally shifted. The courtyard below is not a flat drawing on a map anymore. It is a three-dimensional space, a landscape of potential dangers and fleeting opportunities. Your eyes, now fully accustomed to the deep gloom of the moonless night, begin to dissect the scene. The courtyard is larger than it appeared from a distance. To your left, you can make out the long, low silhouette of the stables. The air carries the rich, earthy scent of horse, hay, and manure. A water trough stands near the stable doors, its surface a black mirror reflecting the distant starlight. To your right is a series of low, squat buildings, storehouses, their doors secured with heavy wooden bars. In the center of the courtyard is a wide, open space, its ground packed hard by the endless marching of soldiers. This open space is a death trap. To cross it directly would be suicide. Your gaze sweeps further, identifying the arteries of this dark organism. You see the patrol routes, not as lines on a map, but as paths of faint, intermittent light. Two guards, carrying a single lantern between them, emerge from a gateway near the far end of the courtyard. The lantern swings in a gentle arc, its warm, yellow light carving a small, moving bubble of safety for them in the immense darkness. It also makes them a beacon for you. Their light illuminates their path, but it also deepens the shadows around them, creating new pockets of concealment where none existed before. You watch them as they walk a slow, predictable circuit around the perimeter of the open yard. Their pace is unhurried, their movements lazy. They talk in low, rumbling voices, the sound too indistinct to be understood, but the tone is one of boredom, not vigilance. This is good. Bored guards are careless guards. You map your own route, a winding, indirect serpent's path that will keep you in the deepest pools of shadow. From the rampart, you must first get to the ground. Directly below you is a sheer drop of 30 feet. Too far. You begin to move along the stone walkway, a silent, crouching predator. Your tabby-clad feet make no sound on the stone. You move towards the stables, where the map in your mind tells you a small hayloft leans against the inner side of the wall. Its thatched roof could provide a softer, quieter landing. As you move, you are acutely aware of your own state. The cold mud from the moat, caked onto your trousers and tunic, is beginning to dry. It feels tight and restrictive, and it flakes off in tiny, gritty particles with every movement. The smell of it is a part of you, a foul perfume that you pray will not be carried on the wind to a sensitive nostril, human or animal. You reach the section of the wall above the hayloft. You peer over the edge. The roof is a dark, sloping rectangle about 10 feet below you. It looks old, the thatch thick and likely damp. It should be quiet enough. You listen. The guard's patrol is moving away from your position, their lantern a receding firefly. The stables are silent, save for the occasional soft snort or the stamp of a hoof from within. Now is the moment. You sling your legs over the edge of the wall, your hands gripping the cold, rough stone. You hang for a moment, your body a dead weight, before releasing your grip. You fall for a silent second and land on the thatched roof. The landing is not as soft as you hoped. The damp straw gives way with a compressed, sighing crunch that sounds like a thunderclap in the stillness. You freeze instantly, your body tensed, every muscle coiled like a spring. You lie flat against the slanted roof, your ear pressed against the thatch, listening. Your heart pounds. Did anyone hear? You strain your senses, searching for any sign of alarm. A shouted question, the sound of running feet, a change in the rhythm of the patrol. Seconds stretch into an eternity. But there is nothing. The night remains undisturbed. The sound was absorbed by the vast, sleeping silence of the castle. You allow yourself a slow, controlled exhalation. A small victory. You slide carefully down the slanted roof, your movements slow and deliberate. You reach the edge and peer down. The ground is another 10 feet below. You lower yourself to a hanging position and drop the last few feet, landing in a crouch in the deep shadow between the hayloft and the main stable building. The ground here is soft earth, mixed with loose straw. The smell of horse is overwhelming, a thick animal musk that clogs your nostrils. It is a useful smell. It will help to mask your own scent from any watchdogs that might be nearby. You remain in your crouch for a full minute, allowing your eyes to adjust to this new, ground-level perspective. The world looks different from down here. The buildings tower over you, their walls vast plains of darkness. The open courtyard seems even more immense and exposed. Your first objective is to cross the short, open space between the stables and the nearest storehouse. It is only 20 feet, but it is 20 feet of terrible vulnerability. The guards' patrol is now on the far side of the courtyard, their lantern a distant spark. You take a deep breath, and you move. You do not run. You glide. Your body is low, your knees bent, your steps a flowing, liquid motion. You are a ripple in the darkness. 10 feet, 15. You are halfway across when a horse inside the stable suddenly lets out a loud, agitated snort, followed by the violent sound of hooves kicking against a wooden stall. You drop to the ground, flattening yourself into the dirt, your hand instantly moving to the hilt of your asterisk tanto. Your mind races. What spooked the horse? Was it you? Your scent? A sound you didn't realize you made? A light appears in a window of the stable. A gruff voice curses from within. Be still, you beast. The voice is thick with sleep. A stable hand. You press yourself harder into the ground, trying to will the earth to swallow you. The light in the window moves, and you see the silhouette of a man moving past. He is likely checking on the animal. You lie motionless, your face in the dirt, the smell of dust and dry manure filling your senses. You regulate your breathing, keeping it slow and silent, despite the frantic pounding of your heart. After what feels like a lifetime, the light in the window disappears. The stable hand, satisfied that all is well, has gone back to his bed. The horse quiets down. The danger has passed, but it was a stark reminder of how precarious your situation is. The castle is not just stone and guards, it is a living place, filled with unpredictable elements. You wait another few minutes, ensuring that all is truly quiet, before rising to your feet and completing your short journey. You reach the deep shadow cast by the first storehouse and press your back against its cold, wooden wall. You have crossed the first open space. Your path now takes you along the line of storehouses. The shadows here are deep and consistent, a river of darkness that you can follow. You move silently along the wall, your hand occasionally brushing against the rough, splintery wood. You pass by the heavy, barred doors, the faint smell of their contents, rice, salt, dried fish, seeping through the cracks. You are about halfway along the line of buildings when you hear it. A low, guttural growl from the darkness ahead. You freeze. Every muscle in your body locks. That is the sound of a dog. Your eyes strain, trying to pierce the gloom. About 30 feet ahead, at the corner of the next storehouse, you can just make out a dark, canine shape. It is a large dog, lying on the ground, but its head is now raised. Its nose is twitching, tasting the air. It has scented something. It has scented you. This is a far greater threat than a human guard. A dog's senses are a different order of magnitude. It does not rely on sight. It can hear your heartbeat. It can smell your fear. You do not move a muscle. You do not even breathe. You slow your heart by force of will, pushing it back down from its frantic tempo. You must project an aura of calm, of non-threat. You must become a rock, a part of the building, something that has always been there. The dog lets out another low growl, a rumble of suspicion in its chest. It gets to its feet, a dark, powerful silhouette. It takes a tentative step forward, its nose still working, trying to decipher the strange, new scent that has invaded its territory. The scent of night air, of forest, of river mud, of a human who does not belong. Your hand rests on the small pouch at your belt that contains your blinding powder. But using it is a last resort. It would create a commotion. There is another way. You reach into a different pouch and retrieve a small piece of dried fish, the same kind you ate for your meal. You have carried it for this exact purpose. The dog takes another step, then another. It is closer now, only 20 feet away. It is not barking, not yet. It is still in a state of curious suspicion. This is your chance. With a slow, deliberate flick of your wrist, you toss the piece of fish into the darkness, a few feet to the left of your position. It lands with a soft, almost inaudible thump on the dirt. The dog stops. Its head cocks to one side. Its growl ceases. Its powerful sense of smell has been hijacked by a more immediate and interesting scent. It turns its head and trots towards where the fish landed. You hear the soft sounds of it sniffing, then a few quick, happy crunches as it devours the offering. The tension in your body releases by a fraction. The immediate danger has been averted, but the dog is still there, and it is now aware that something unusual is afoot. It will be more alert. You cannot go forward. You must go back. You begin to retreat, moving backwards with the same silent, fluid steps, never taking your eyes off the dog. The animal, having finished its treat, looks back in your direction, but its suspicion seems to have been replaced by a hopeful expectation of more food. It does not bark. You melt back into the deeper shadows near the stables. You have to find another way. You consult the map in your mind. The central courtyard is too exposed. The line of storehouses is blocked. But what about behind the stables? The map showed a narrow alleyway there, used for carting away manure. It will be foul, but it may be unguarded. You circle around the back of the stable building. The smell here is even more potent, an almost overpowering stench of animal waste. You find the alleyway. It is narrow, no more than 4 feet wide, and the ground is a muddy track of filth and sodden straw. But it is dark, deeply, wonderfully dark. You slip into the alleyway. The walls of the stable and the next building rise high on either side of you, blocking out most of the faint starlight. You move through the filth, your feet sinking into the muck, the sound a soft, disgusting squelch. You ignore the revulsion. Discomfort is a constant companion on this path. The alleyway runs the full length of the stable and brings you out into another, smaller courtyard behind the main barracks. This area is cluttered with discarded equipment, empty barrels, and piles of firewood. It is a messy, forgotten corner of the castle, and it offers a labyrinth of new shadows and hiding places. From here, you can see the main keep, the asterisk Tenshukaku. It rises up from the center of the castle complex, a multi-tiered fortress within a fortress. Its dark, sloping roofs and white plaster walls seem to glow with a faint luminescence in the starlight. Its windows are dark eyes, watching over the sleeping castle. The guards here are different. You can see them on the balconies of the keep. They are not lazy or bored. They stand straight, their spears held at the ready. They are samurai, the elite. Your mission is to get inside that keep. But first, you must cross this final courtyard. It is smaller than the first, but the stakes are higher. The proximity to the keep means that any alarm raised here will bring an immediate and overwhelming response. You begin to move, a flitting shadow navigating the maze of barrels and woodpiles. You move from one island of darkness to the next, pausing at each one to observe, to listen. You can hear the low murmur of voices from a window in the barracks, the clink of a sake cup. Some of the soldiers are still awake. You are halfway across the courtyard, crouched behind a large water butt, when a door to the barracks creaks open. A soldier stumbles out, his movements unsteady. He is drunk. He walks a few paces into the courtyard, directly towards your hiding place, and begins to relieve himself against a nearby wall. You are trapped. You are less than 10 feet away from him, concealed only by the curve of the large wooden barrel. You hold your breath, praying he does not turn his head. The sound of the stream seems to echo in the quiet courtyard. He finishes with a low grunt and then stands there for a moment, swaying slightly, looking up at the stars. His head begins to turn in your direction. Your hand tightens on the hilt of your sword. If he sees you, you will have to silence him. It is a violation of your orders, but capture is not an option. His eyes, unfocused and clouded with drink, sweep past your position without registering the deeper shadow that is you. His gaze is vacant. He is looking at nothing. He lets out a loud belch, turns, and stumbles back into the barracks, closing the door behind him. You let out a breath you didn't realize you had been holding. Your entire body is slick with a cold sweat. That was too close. The human element, in all its unpredictable, drunken foolishness, is often the greatest danger. You do not move for another 5 minutes, allowing your racing heart to calm, allowing the night to settle back into its rhythm. Then, you continue your silent journey. You finally reach the base of the stone-walled platform upon which the main keep is built. You have crossed the outer grounds. You are now at the threshold of the castle's heart. You press yourself into the deep shadow where the stone foundation meets the wall of a lesser building. Here, you are completely hidden. You allow yourself a moment to rest, to consolidate what you have learned. The patrols are predictable. The dogs can be distracted. The guards are human and fallible. You look up at the dark, imposing mass of the keep. The real challenge lies ahead. You must find a way inside. You begin to scan the walls, the windows, the balconies, searching for a flaw, a weakness, an invitation into the fortress's sleeping heart. The night is still young, and your mission is far from over. You are a creature of the deep shadow, pressed into the angle where the cold stone foundation of the main keep meets the wall of a lesser building. This small pocket of absolute blackness is your sanctuary, your planning room. From here, you begin your silent, meticulous assault. Your target is no longer a distant silhouette but a towering reality of stone and wood, a vertical fortress whose secrets are locked away behind layers of defense, both physical and human. Your eyes, pupils wide to drink in every available photon, begin their slow, methodical scan of the keep's lower levels. This is a different kind of observation than the one you conducted from the forest. Here, you are close enough to touch the enemy's skin. You see the sheer scale of the foundation stones, the ishigaki. They are massive, perfectly fitted behemoths, their surfaces dressed smooth, offering few of the convenient handholds you found on the rougher outer wall. This was built to repel climbers, to declare its own impregnability. The message is clear. You are not welcome here. The few windows at this level are little more than slits, designed for archers to fire upon attackers while remaining almost completely protected. They are far too narrow for even the most slender body to squeeze through, and you can see the dark lines of iron bars set deep within them. The main doors are a distant dream, great slabs of iron-banded wood, certainly barred from within by massive timbers and guarded by men who do not sleep. No, the obvious paths are closed to you. A frontal assault, even one of stealth, is suicide. Your path must be an obscure one, a forgotten artery, a weakness born not of poor design, but of necessity and neglect. You begin to move, a slow and patient circumnavigation of the keep's base. You glide from one deep shadow to the next, your body a low, flowing shape. The ground beneath your feet changes. Here, it is hard-packed earth. A few feet further, it transitions to meticulously raked gravel. This is a deadly trap for the unwary. Each tiny stone is a potential fire alarm, ready to announce your presence with a single, careless crunch. You approach the gravel patch as you would approach a sleeping dragon. You do not walk upon it. You become a creature of the borderlands, your hands and feet finding purchase on the larger, more stable stones that form the edge of the foundation, your body held in a tense, horizontal bridge over the treacherous surface. It is a slow, agonizingly difficult process. Your muscles scream under the sustained tension, the strain in your fingers and toes immense. Sweat, cold and clammy, beads on your brow beneath your mask. You ignore it. You are a bridge of flesh and bone and will, and you will not fail. You cross the gravel without dislodging a single stone. You flow back into the shadows on the other side, your body trembling with the aftershocks of the effort. You pause, your breath held, listening to the symphony of the night. It remains unchanged. You are still a ghost. You continue your circuit. You pass a section of the wall that smells of ash and charcoal. The kitchens must be on the other side. The wall here is warm to the touch. You press your ear against the stone but hear only the faint, deep hum of a building alive with sleeping souls. And then you see it. It is not dramatic. It is not a gaping hole or a forgotten door. It is a small, insignificant detail, something that 1,000 soldiers would walk past every day and never notice. High up on the wall, at the top of the stone foundation where the wooden structure of the second floor begins, there is a small, square opening, no larger than a man's shoulders. It is a privy chute, a place of waste and filth, a necessity of life even in a fortress, and therefore, a potential weakness. It is unglamorous. It is disgusting, and it may be the only way in. It is located on the back side of the keep, in a recessed corner partially obscured by the roof of the castle's bathhouse. The location is well chosen, sheltered from the main sightlines. Getting to it will be the next great challenge. It is a good 15 feet above you, at the very top of the sheer stone foundation. You find the deepest shadow beneath the chute and look up, planning your ascent. The stones here are just as smooth, just as perfectly fitted. But there are tiny imperfections. A slight wearing away of the mortar here, a small chip there. These will have to be enough. This will not be a climb of strength like the one with the rope. This will be a climb of pure technique, of finger strength, of balance, of will. It will be a vertical conversation with the stone. You remove your waraji sandals, tying them to your belt. The soft, sensitive soles of your tabi socks will give you a much better feel for the stone, allowing you to take advantage of the tiniest imperfections. You press your palms flat against the cold stone, feeling its texture, searching for your first hold. You find a slight indentation, barely deep enough for your fingertips. You test it, pulling gently. It holds. The climb is a silent, vertical ballet. Your movements are incredibly slow, deliberate. Each handhold, each foothold is a life or death decision. You use your entire body, pressing yourself against the wall, using friction and balance to supplement the meager holds. Your fingers, conditioned by years of punishing exercises, become claws, hooking into the slightest cracks. Your toes press into the stone, seeking purchase. Minutes stretch into an eternity. The world shrinks to the few square inches of stone directly in front of your face. You can smell the cold, mineral scent of the rock, the faint traces of moss growing in the damp crevices. You hear nothing but the sound of your own blood roaring in your ears and the whisper of the wind trying to peel you from the wall. You are halfway up. Your fingers are numb, the muscles in your forearms burning with a white-hot fire. Doubt, a cold and insidious serpent, tries to uncoil in your mind. You cannot hold on. Your fingers will fail. You will fall. You crush it. You focus on the next move and the next. You are not climbing a wall. You are simply moving from one point of stability to the next. That is all. Finally, after a climb that feels as though it has lasted for years, your hand reaches the wooden sill of the privy opening. You grasp it. The wood is old and slightly rotten, but it is solid enough. With a final, desperate surge of strength, you pull yourself up, hooking your elbow over the edge. You hang there for a moment, your body trembling with exhaustion, dangling 15 feet above the hard stone ground. You pull yourself higher, getting your other arm over the edge. You are now looking into the opening. It is as small as you feared, and a foul, eye-watering stench wafts out, the smell of human waste and decay. In the center of the opening is a single, thick wooden bar. You cannot go around it. You must go through it. You draw your *tanto* from your belt. The blade is short but razor sharp. You cannot simply chop at the bar. The noise would be catastrophic. You must carve it. You begin to work, your knife held in a tight, precise grip. You don't saw at the wood. You make a series of deep, precise cuts, outlining a section in the center of the bar. Your movements are small, controlled. The only sound is the soft, scraping whisper of steel on wood. Splinters and dust fall away into the darkness below. It is painstaking, nerve-wracking work. The smell from the chute is almost overwhelming, but you force it from your consciousness. After what feels like another lifetime, you have carved a deep groove around the central section of the bar. Now for the most dangerous part. You put your knife away and grip the weakened section with both hands. You begin to apply slow, steady pressure, twisting and pulling. You feel the wood fibers begin to groan and protest. You hear a low, creaking sound. You pause, listening. Nothing. You apply more pressure. The wood groans again, louder this time. A crack appears. Then, with a final, soft, tearing sound, the central section of the bar breaks free in your hands. You have created a hole just large enough to squeeze through. You hold the broken piece of wood, not daring to drop it. You carefully wedge it into the side of the opening, securing it so it will not fall. Now, you must enter. You exhale completely. making your body as small as possible, and begin to worm your way through the opening. It is a tight, claustrophobic struggle. The edges of the wood scrape against your back and chest. For a terrifying moment, you think you are stuck. But you twist your body, contorting your shoulders at an unnatural angle, and with a final push, you are through. You fall a few feet and land in a crouch on the hard wooden floor inside. You have done it. You are inside the main keep. You are in a small, pitch-black room. The stench is overpowering. You have landed in a privy closet. You remain perfectly still, your senses exploding outwards, trying to comprehend this new environment. The world inside is completely different. The air is dead, still, and thick with the smells of its inhabitants: lamp oil, old tatami mats, dust, and the faint, lingering aroma of cooking. The sounds are alien. The wind is gone, replaced by the intimate creaks and groans of the massive wooden structure. It is like being inside the belly of some colossal, sleeping beast. You can hear sounds from other parts of the keep, but they are muffled and distorted, traveling through the floors and walls. A distant cough, the sound of a heavy footstep on a floorboard far above, the soft rattle of a sliding paper screen. You must get your bearings. You slide open the door to the small closet and slip out into a narrow, dark corridor. The floor here is made of smooth, polished wood. It is beautiful, and it is treacherous. Every board is a potential alarm, ready to creak and betray you. You get down on your hands and knees. You begin to test the floorboards, one by one, applying gentle pressure before committing your full weight. This is the shinobi uruki asterisk, the silent walk, in its most demanding form. It is a slow, painstaking process, but it is the only way. You move down the corridor like a snail, a creature of infinite patience. According to the map in your mind, the lower floors of the keep house storage, quarters for high-ranking attendants, and, most importantly, the armory. Your primary mission is to confirm the presence of firearms. That is your next objective. You continue your silent crawl down the hallway. You pass by several doors, thin paper shoji screens that would offer no resistance but would tear with a loud rasp if you tried to open them. Behind one, you can hear the soft, rhythmic sound of someone snoring. You come to a sturdier wooden door at the end of the corridor. It is closed. You press your ear against the wood. Silence. You run your fingers over its surface. You can smell it, a faint, sharp, metallic scent. The smell of oil and steel. This is it, the armory. The door is locked. A heavy iron lock is set into the wood. You pull out your small, velvet-lined case of lockpicks. You select a thin, tension wrench and a small, hooked pick. Kneeling in the darkness, you go to work. This is a delicate art, a conversation with the inner workings of the lock. You apply a tiny amount of pressure with the tension wrench, feeling for the subtle shifts in the mechanism. With the pick, you gently probe the inside of the lock, searching for the pins. You find the first one. You push it up gently until you feel and hear a minuscule click as it sets. One down. You search for the next. The process is one of intense focus and sensitivity. Your entire world is reduced to the tip of your pick and the tiny, hidden world inside the lock. Click. The second pin sets. Click. The third. Click. The fourth. You feel the cylinder give way slightly under the pressure of your tension wrench. With a final, soft, metallic sigh, the lock opens. You slowly, carefully, pull the door open. It swings inward without a sound on well-oiled hinges. You slip inside and pull the door closed behind you. You are in a large, windowless room, shrouded in absolute darkness. The air is cool and thick with the smell of metal, oil, and leather. You stand motionless for a moment, allowing your eyes to adjust, but there is no light to adjust to. You are effectively blind. You must rely on your other senses. You begin to explore the room by touch, your hands outstretched, moving with incredible slowness. Your fingers brush against the shaft of a spear. You follow it up to its sharp, leaf-shaped head. You move on. Your hand finds a rack of swords, the hilts wrapped in rough rayskin. You can feel the power, the deadly potential, sleeping in each one. You continue your exploration, mapping the room in your mind. Racks of spears, stacks of bows, barrels filled with arrows, their fletchings soft as a bird's wing. Suits of armor standing on wooden frames, silent, empty sentinels in the dark. They feel cold and alien to the touch. This is the conventional arsenal of a samurai army. But it is not what you are here for. You search for something different. A crate, a chest, something separate, something special. Your hands find a large, iron-banded wooden chest against the far wall. It is heavy, solid, and it is locked with not one, but two formidable padlocks. This must be it. Firearms are precious, new, and dangerous technology. They would be kept under special guard. You kneel before the chest and once again retrieve your lockpicks. These locks are larger, more complex than the one on the door. The work is even more slow, more demanding. Your fingers grow numb with the cold and the effort, but you persist. The silence of the armory is absolute, broken only by the nearly inaudible scratching and clicking of your tools. The first lock gives way. You set it carefully aside on the floor. You turn your attention to the second. This one is more stubborn. The pins are stiff. You have to adjust the tension constantly, feeling for the precise moment of release. Time ceases to exist. There is only you, the lock, and the silent contest of wills. Finally, with a last, satisfying click, the second lock opens. You take a deep, silent breath. This is the moment of truth. You place your hands on the heavy lid of the chest and lift. It is heavy, and the hinges groan in protest, a low, drawn-out cry that makes every muscle in your body tense up. You freeze, listening. The sound echoes for a moment in the small, enclosed space and then fades. There is no response. You lift the lid all the way and prop it open. You reach inside. Your hands touch not wood or steel, but a thick, oily cloth. You feel the shape beneath it. It is long, slender, and heavy. It is unmistakable. You carefully lift one of the objects from the chest. It is an arquebus, *teppo. You run your hands over its form in the darkness. You feel the long, smooth, cold steel of the barrel. You feel the carved wooden stock, the intricate, alien shape of the matchlock firing mechanism. There is no doubt. You place it back in the chest and feel around. There are at least 10 of them. 10 guns. And next to them, you find leather pouches filled with lead shot and smaller casks containing the fine black powder needed to fire them. Lord Endo has firearms. The rumors are true. The greatest fear of your clan has been confirmed. The knowledge settles upon you, a cold, heavy weight. This single discovery changes everything. It changes the nature of the war, the balance of power. It changes the very meaning of survival. You silently close the lid of the chest. You do not relock it. To do so would take too much time, and it is a change that might be noticed. You simply leave the unlocked padlocks sitting beside it. Your primary mission is complete. You have the information. Now, you must get the rest of it, and then, somehow, you must get out alive. You rise to your feet, a ghost in a room of sleeping dragons, the terrible secret you have uncovered clutched tight in your mind. The darkness of the armory feels different now. Before, it was a neutral space, a place of secrets to be uncovered. Now that you have found its most terrible secret, the darkness feels heavy, charged with the weight of your discovery. The 10 sleeping dragons in the iron-banded chest have changed the very air you breathe. It is the scent of a future filled with fire, smoke, and a noise loud enough to deafen the gods. It is the scent of your world changing forever. You do not allow yourself to dwell on it. To contemplate the future is a luxury for those who are certain to have one. You are a creature of the present, a being of singular, focused purpose. You have the primary intelligence. Now, you need the secondary, the written plans, the troop dispositions, the tangible proof of Lord Endo's strategies. You move to the armory door, your hands finding it in the impenetrable blackness. You pull it slowly, carefully, towards you. You do not close it fully. You leave it resting against the jamb, a hair's breadth from latching, exactly as you found it. To the casual observer, it is closed. Only a careful inspection would reveal it is unsecured. It is a tiny, calculated risk, but better than the definitive click of a latching mechanism. You are back in the narrow, silent corridor. The polished floorboards feel like a sheet of ice beneath your feet, beautiful and treacherous. You listen, stretching your senses down the hallway, but there is only the profound silence of a sleeping fortress. You must find the stairs. Castle architecture dictates that a main staircase will be centrally located, a spine running up the body of the keep. You begin to move, not walking, but flowing, a low, controlled crawl, your hands and feet testing the floor ahead of you with the gentle, inquisitive touch of an insect's antennae. Each board is a potential enemy. You find a rhythm, a silent catechism of movement. Touch, pressure, test, wait, move. It is an excruciatingly slow process. The corridor stretches before you, a tunnel of blackness. You pass the snoring room again, the sound a soft, constant rumble, a human counterpoint to the groaning of the great wooden beams around you. After what feels like an hour of crawling, your outstretched hand touches not wood, but empty space. You have reached the end of the corridor. It opens into a larger area. You can feel a slight draft of air, a subtle current that speaks of a larger volume, a connection between floors. You have found it, the stairwell. You rise slowly to a crouch, your eyes discerning the faint outline of the staircase against the slightly less black darkness of the open space. It is steep and functional, the treads narrow. This is not a staircase for ceremony. It is built for soldiers to move quickly between floors. And it is made of old, dry wood. It will sing a song of creaks and groans if you are not careful. You approach the first step as if it were a pressure-activated trap. You place your hand on the railing. It is worn smooth, the lacquer polished away by the passage of 1,000 hands. You place the ball of your foot on the absolute edge of the first step, right where the tread meets the vertical support beam. This is the strongest point, the place least likely to complain. You slowly, gradually, transfer your weight onto it. The wood utters a low, mournful groan, a sound like a tired old man settling into a chair. You freeze. You stand there, one foot on the stair, one on the floor, a statue of pure tension. You listen. Is that sound loud enough to travel? Is it just one of the keep's natural night sounds, or is it a clear, sharp announcement of your presence? The silence that answers is absolute. It seems no one has heard. You take the next step, and the next, with the same agonizing care. Each one is a new negotiation with the ancient wood. Groan, creak, sigh. You learn the language of the staircase, a vocabulary of complaint. You learn to move with its rhythm, to mask your own sounds within the natural noises of the structure. The ascent is a slow, vertical torture, a testament to the fact that in your profession, the most mundane objects are often the most formidable adversaries. You reach the landing of the second floor. You pause, concealed in the deep shadow of the stairwell, and allow your senses to acclimate to this new level. The atmosphere here is immediately different. The air is warmer, less stale. There is a faint, clean scent of tatami mats, and beneath it, the subtle, calming aroma of old incense. You are no longer in the functional, military bowels of the castle. You have entered its living quarters, the domain of its human inhabitants. The danger here is of a different, more intimate, and far less predictable kind. The landing opens onto a wider corridor. The floors here are covered in tatami, the woven rush mats a welcome silence to your feet. But the silence is deceptive. The tatami rests on a wooden subfloor, and the framework beneath can still betray you. You move off the stairs and onto the mats, your steps as light as falling leaves. The corridor is a maze of sliding paper screens, the asterisk shoji. They are walls of paper and thin wood, offering visual concealment but no barrier to sound. Behind each one, a life is being lived, or at least, slept. You glide past a screen and hear the soft, almost inaudible sound of someone turning over in their sleep, the rustle of a silk-filled quilt. Your entire body tenses. You are a predator moving through a field of sleeping prey, and if even one of them awakens, the entire herd will be alerted. You continue down the corridor, your back pressed against the wall. The faint starlight filtering through the high transom windows casts a ghostly, latticed pattern on the floor, a grid of light and shadow that you must navigate with care. You are halfway down the hall when you hear it. It is not a creak or a groan. It is the soft, whispering swish of silk. It is the sound of movement. Ahead of you, you react instantly, without thought. You melt into a shallow alcove, a space designed to hold a decorative scroll or a vase of flowers. You become one with the shadow it contains, your dark clothing making you almost invisible. You hold your breath. Your heart is a cold, silent stone in your chest. Two figures emerge from a crossing corridor further down the hall. They are guards, but not like the ones in the courtyard. They are samurai, clad in dark, silken hakama and asterisk kimono. They carry no lanterns. They do not need them. Their eyes are as accustomed to the dark as yours. They move with a silent, lethal grace, their swords, their very souls, at their sides. They are not patrolling. They are simply present, an extension of the castle's immune system. They pause not 20 feet from your hiding place, their silhouettes framed against a paper screen. One of them speaks, his voice a low, disciplined whisper. The wind is cold tonight. It carries the smell of rain. The other replies, his voice equally quiet. The storms will be early this year. Perhaps they will wash away the Iga rats from the mountains. The words are a physical blow. They are talking about you, about your people. The casual, dehumanizing contempt in the guard's voice sends a flicker of hot, white rage through you. It is an emotion you cannot afford, a fire that could burn you from the inside out. You ruthlessly extinguish it. You are not a man. You are a tool. You are a shadow. Their words are meaningless noise. The two samurai stand there for another long moment, two statues of serene deadliness. Then, as silently as they appeared, they turn and glide down another corridor, disappearing from view. You remain in the alcove for a full 5 minutes, your body rigid, until you are certain they are gone. The encounter has sharpened your senses, reminded you of the stakes. The guards on this floor are not the bored, drowsy soldiers of the lower levels. They are wolves. You continue your journey. Your intelligence, the map burned into your mind, tells you that the War Council chamber is on this floor. It is a large room, used for strategic meetings. It is the most likely place to find the documents you seek. You scan the doors you pass, looking for one that matches its description, a large, formal entrance, perhaps with some distinguishing feature. You find it, a set of large, double doors, made of dark, polished cedar. And standing before them, one on each side, are two more guards. They are not patrolling. They are standing watch. They are kneeling in the formal Caesar position, perfectly erect, their hands resting on their thighs. Their swords are placed on the floor beside them. They are as still as stone carvings, but you can feel the coiled energy radiating from them. They are springs of tempered steel, ready to uncoil at the slightest disturbance. This is an impassable barrier. There is no way to get past them, no way to enter that room. A cold knot of doubt forms in your stomach. Was the intelligence wrong? Is this a fool's errand? You retreat back into the shadows, your mind racing. The plan has hit a wall of two perfectly disciplined, wide-awake samurai. You cannot fight them. You cannot sneak past them. You must adapt. You must find another way. Your eyes scan the architecture of the corridor. The walls are paper screens. What of the rooms next to the council chamber? You move to the door of the adjacent room. It is a smaller, less imposing door. There are no guards. You press your ear to it. Silence. You try the door. It is a sliding screen, and it is not latched. Your heart quickens. You slide it open a fraction of an inch, the wooden frame making a faint, dry rasp against the floor track. You peer through the crack. The room is empty. It appears to be a small antechamber or waiting room. You slip inside, closing the screen behind you with agonizing slowness. You are now in a small, dark room. On one side is the corridor you just left. On the other is a shared wall with the War Council chamber. And this wall, like the others, is a *shoji* screen. A wall of paper. You approach it with the caution of a man approaching a tiger. You kneel beside it. You can hear nothing from the other side. Of course not. The meeting was hours ago. The room is empty, but the documents might still be there. Left on the table, or stored in a chest. But the guards are still outside the main door. Even if you could cut a hole in this paper screen and slip through, you would be trapped in that room with no way out except past them. It is a dead end. You feel a wave of frustration, a rare and dangerous emotion. You have come so far, overcome so much. To be thwarted by a simple pair of guards is maddening. You take a slow, calming breath, pushing the frustration down. Think, re-evaluate. Where would Lord Endo keep his most vital, current strategic plans? Would he leave them in an empty council chamber, even a guarded one? Unlikely. A council chamber is a semi-public space. The documents would be somewhere more secure. Somewhere more private, his personal study. The realization strikes you with the force of a physical blow. The council chamber was the logical target based on your intelligence, but the intelligence was incomplete. It did not account for the paranoia and caution of a warlord like Endo. The real prize, the written plans, the correspondence, the maps marked with his own hand, they would be in his study. The nerve center of his mind. And where would the study be? It would be close to his personal quarters. It would be higher up. Deeper in. On the next floor. The mission has just changed. It has become infinitely more dangerous. You are no longer infiltrating a room. You are infiltrating a man's personal space, the very heart of his domain. You look around the small, empty room you are in. You have to leave, to get back to the corridor and find the next staircase. You slide the screen door open again, a tiny crack, and peer out. The corridor is empty. The two guards are still kneeling before the council chamber doors, unmoving. They did not hear you. You slip back out into the hallway, a ghost leaving a tomb. You look away from the guarded doors, from your own failure. Your eyes are now cast upwards, towards the ceiling, towards the floor above. Your new target is up there, somewhere in the darkness, closer to the sleeping Lord himself. You are a diver who, having reached what he thought was the bottom, has just discovered that the abyss goes deeper still. You turn and begin to search for the next flight of stairs, the next ascent into the heart of the shadow. The staircase that leads to the top floor of the keep is not like the others. It is narrower, the wood a dark, polished cherry that seems to absorb the faint starlight, leaving it a void in the darkness. There is no wooden handrail, but a single, thick rope of crimson silk, cool and smooth to the touch, runs along the wall. This is not a path for soldiers. It is the entryway to the master's private world. The air itself seems to change as you ascend, growing stiller, heavier, imbued with the silent, concentrated essence of power. Your ascent is the slowest, most terrifying yet. Each step is a pilgrimage of dread. The wood beneath your feet is unforgiving, designed to announce the presence of anyone, even a ghost like you. You spend an eternity on each tread, your entire body a finely tuned instrument of balance, coaxing your weight onto the wood without forcing from it a single cry of protest. You reach the landing. It is not a corridor, but a single, serene room. The floor is covered in the finest tatami, the scent of fresh reeds a clean counterpoint to the ancient wood. In the center of the far wall, a magnificent suit of ceremonial armor stands on a black lacquered frame. Its horned helmet, the kabuto asterisk, seems to watch you from the shadows, its empty eyes filled with the spirits of dead samurai. There are only two doors leading from this space. One is a paper shoji screen, its delicate lattice casting a faint web of shadows. From behind it, you can hear the one sound you have been dreading most, the soft, rhythmic, almost inaudible sound of a person breathing in deep sleep. That is the chamber of Lord Endo. He is there, mere feet away. A wall of paper separates your world from his. The proximity to the target is a physical pressure, a weight on your chest that makes it hard to breathe. The other door is made of heavy, dark cypress wood. It is solid, imposing, and speaks of secrets. This must be the study. It is closed. You glide to the wooden door, your feet making no whisper on the tatami. You kneel before it. This lock is different. It is not a heavy, iron bolt, but a small, intricate brass lock, a work of art in itself. It is a declaration not of brute strength, but of sophisticated security. You retrieve your picks. Your hands, for the first time tonight, are not perfectly steady. A fine tremor runs through your fingers. You force it down, commanding your body to obey. The cold metal of the picks feels alien in your slick, sweaty grasp. You begin the delicate dance, the intimate conversation with the lock. The tumblers are minuscule, the mechanism a complex puzzle. The silence of this top floor is so profound that the tiny click of a setting pin sounds like a stone shattering glass. You wince at each one, sure that it will awaken the sleeping lord in the next room. Click, click, you feel the tension in the lock shift. It is about to give way. One final pin. You guide your pick to it, nudging it with the pressure of a single falling hair. Click. The lock gives way with a soft, metallic sigh. You hold your breath for a 30 count. The rhythmic breathing from the next room continues, undisturbed. He has not heard. You pull the heavy door open, an inch at a time. The hinges, a testament to the castle's wealth, are perfectly oiled and silent. You create a gap just wide enough for your body and slip through. You do not close the door behind you. A closed door makes a sound. A slightly ajar door is just a shadow. You are in his study. The air is thick with the scent of old paper, expensive ink, and the lingering aroma of a single candle that has been recently extinguished. Moonlight, brighter up here, streams through a large, unshuttered window, bathing the room in a pale, ghostly silver. The space is a reflection of its owner's mind, ordered, disciplined, and utterly ruthless. Scrolls are arranged in perfect rows on black lacquered shelves. A writing desk stands in the center of the room, its surface clear save for a single inkstone, a brush rack, and a folded piece of paper. On a stand in the corner rests Lord Endo's war helmet, its demonic faceplate, the asterisk mempo asterisk, seeming to snarl at you in the moonlight. This is the heart of the beast, the crucible of your clan's doom. You glide to the desk, your eyes scanning for your prize. It is not in the neat rows on the shelves. It would be something current, something in use. Your eyes fall on the folded piece of paper. Too small. Then you see it. On a low table beside the main desk, there is a single scroll, held partially open by a polished stone weight. You approach it. Your breath catches in your throat. It is a hand-drawn map of your homeland, of Iga province. And it is covered in fresh ink markings. Lines of attack, drawn in stark, red ink, converge on your hidden village. Names of commanders are written beside each vector. And next to several of the larger village names is a single, chilling character. Shao. Yaki. Burn. This is it, not just a plan. It is a death sentence. The entire soul of his strategy, laid bare in the moonlight. You cannot take it. That would be an immediate alarm. You must commit it to your memory. You are an eye. You must see, remember, and report. You devour the map with your eyes, your mind racing, burning the lines and characters into your brain. The northern approach through the woods. The flanking maneuver from the west. The list of commanders. The villages slated for annihilation. The information floods into you, a torrent of cold, hard, horrifying fact. You are so focused, so utterly consumed by the map, that you almost do not register the sound. It is not a footstep. It is not the Lord waking up. It is not a shout of alarm. It is a soft, gentle click. It comes from the direction of the heavy cypress door you just entered through. You look up from the map, your head snapping towards the door. It is no longer ajar. It is now fully closed. The sound you heard was the sound of an external bolt, expertly thrown, sliding silently into place. A cold dread, far colder and deeper than the moat water or the night air, floods your body. It is a coldness of the soul. Your eyes dart around the room. You see it now. The faint gleam of oiled tracks on the floor. The almost invisible seam in the wall behind the armor stand. The way the room feels slightly too solid, too perfect. It was a trap. It was all a trap. The open privy chute. The easily distracted dog. The drunken soldier. The empty council chamber. Every step of your infiltration was not a victory, but a carefully guided journey along a path they had laid for you. They knew someone was coming. They knew what you were looking for. And they built this room, this perfect, inescapable cage, and bailed it with the truth. They wanted you to see the plan. Perhaps to carry false hope, or to die with the true knowledge of your people's utter annihilation. You are a fly, and the web you thought you were navigating has just been sealed. You walk to the door. You press your hand against the heavy, unyielding wood. It is solid. You are entombed. You move to the window. It is covered with a heavy wooden lattice, and beyond it, a 30-foot drop to the stone courtyard below. There is no escape. Your mission is a failure. You have the information, but it will die here with you, in this silent, elegant room. The knowledge of your clan's destruction is your final, personal torment. In the corner of the room, on a small stand, you see something you hadn't noticed before. A single candle, its wick still smoking faintly from when it was extinguished. Beside it, a flint and steel. A final, cruel courtesy. So the trapped rat would not have to die in the dark. You walk to it. Your movements are slow, no longer imbued with stealth, but with the heavy grace of the condemned. You pick up the flint and steel. Your hands are steady now. The tremor is gone. There is a strange calm that comes with the absolute certainty of doom. You strike the flint. A spark flies, catching the wick. A small, golden flame springs to life, pushing back the moonlight, filling the room with a warm, gentle glow. It illuminates the snarling face of the war helmet, the cold ink on the map, the solid, hopeless reality of the door. You sit down in the center of the room, in the formal Caesar position you were taught as a child. You place the candle on the floor in front of you. You watch the flame. It is a tiny, living thing in this tomb of a room. It dances, it sways, it fights against the small drafts you cannot feel. It is alive, and for now, so are you. You do not know if they will come for you in the morning, or if they will simply leave you here to waste away. It does not matter. The end is the same. You close your eyes, your mind now empty of plans, of hope, of fear. There is only the present moment, the scent of wax and smoke, the feel of the tatami beneath your knees, the faint, warm glow of the candlelight against your closed eyelids. You sit for a long, long time. An hour, perhaps two. The castle remains silent. The sleeping lord in the next room does not stir. The world has forgotten you. The candle burns down. The flame, once a proud, dancing spear of light, becomes a small, sputtering pool. It shrinks, fighting to stay alive, consuming the last of its fuel. It flickers once, twice. It throws one last, defiant spark into the air, and then it is gone. The darkness that rushes in is absolute, a physical presence. It is a velvet shroud that smothers all sight, all thought, all hope. It is the end of the mission. It is the end of the story. It is a perfect, silent nothing.